Yesterday, I finished watching the 2022 CrossFit Games. I really enjoyed it. I just thought I'd make a short video and share a couple thoughts I had after watching this. With CrossFit Games, just so you know, it's the top 40 men and women CrossFitters from around the world that qualify for this event to compete against each other every August. This was basically 5 days of competing. Watched a lot of these competitions, a lot of commentary, a lot of internet keyboard warriors commenting on stuff, a lot of people arguing. So this kind of got me in the mood to want to share some of my thoughts about this. Okay, so I'm going to share like a positive and a negative back and forth on some of the things from this. First of all, on the positive, I don't understand how people don't acknowledge CrossFit better as an amazing sport and these athletes. There's still so much backlash and people making fun of it. And I really don't understand why they do that. Well, maybe I do. But aside from gym fails and crazy stuff like that, you have to admit these people are just amazing athletes. Their conditioning is insane, and I just wish I could be a small percentage of where they're at with their fitness. Okay, so one of the negative things, I guess on day one, I was looking forward to this. The first event with the bike, they had some mishaps where some of the participants actually went to the finish line too early before they finished the course. It just threw a wrench in things, and things came to a halt. Lots of confusion. Leaderboards took forever to get updated. Then after that, they had a rain delay for the day, so the first day was kind of rough. Lots of people were really criticizing it and bashing on it. Fortunately, though, they were able to turn things around after day one and get things back on track fast. Okay, one of the biggest positives would be Tia Toomey winning her 6th title. She was just dominant again, got off to a slow start, but again, just took over towards the end. No one's been able to win 6 titles like that. So it's just been amazing how well-rounded she's been over the years and just done so much. Yet at the same time, it's nice to see there's such a young field, especially on the women's side of the event. All these great young athletes that are going to be coming and competing in the future. So it's looking good on the women's side of things. Okay, another thing that was kind of a negative for me, Roman Khrennikov, a Russian athlete. He's qualified last 4 years for the games. This is the first year he's been able to actually come in person and participate. And I guess in the politics behind it, CrossFit chose to not use his country flag of Russia, and so they just used a white square. And also there was another athlete, I think maybe from Belarus, so they did the same thing too. And instead of saying they're from Russia or whatever, they just said Asia, which I thought was odd. I'm no fan of Putin or what's going on with Ukraine, but I think it's crazy just to kind of penalize or ignore an athlete where he's from when he's been part of the CrossFit community for so long. So I thought that was kind of petty. I mean, it's not like he's a WWE villain that's coming to bash the US. I can understand if they decided not to hold the games in Moscow or something, or sanctions like that. But to take an athlete who's worked hard and is participating in part of it to pretend like his country doesn't exist, I thought that was just kind of petty. Wasn't a big fan of that. Another positive point was Justin Medeiros winning his 2nd title. Did a great job. I heard and saw a lot of people complaining about how he hadn't won any of the events during the week, yet he was the champion. What's up with that? Well, that's the rules. It's kind of like if you're the Yankees in the World Series and you don't hit any home runs, but you outscore the other team, you're still going to win. So look up the rules, those of you that are complaining. But the key of this is he was consistent. I mean, always within top 5, 10 finish in almost every event. So consistency pays off, and that's what's rewarded. So congratulations to him. Okay, back to a negative. Some of the camera work was really great, but a lot of it just got me a little bit frustrated. It's like if you're watching the Olympics and they have like the men's freestyle with Michael Phelps, and all they do is talk about Michael Phelps and show his lane when it starts, just with him swimming and no one else. So I would have appreciated more views of the entire field competing, more split screen stuff, instead of sometimes the commentator just blabbing on about a particular thing and showing, something that's not really relevant to the action at the time. So I hopefully next year they'll have a little bit more, get a little bit more focused on the camera work for what's happening. Another positive was how close this competition was this year. Especially on the men's side, it was a nail biter. It wasn't until the last 2 events when Medeiros was finally able to start pulling away. But there was a lot of excitement and tension what would happen. We didn't know. Unlike some of the prior years where Fraser knocks it out of the park halfway through the event, he's already wrapped up the title because he has so many points. So it was nice to have that close competition that we hadn't seen for a while. I'm not sure if this is a negative. The programming I actually liked. I thought Boz did a good job with the programming. But a little bit frustrated when I'm rooting for Haley Adams, Emma Lawson, and Daniel Brandon, more of the gymnastic, faster type athletes. And then the last 3 events have all this heavy strength in it. So that really is hard for them to compete. But again, I understand that that's the games. It's about being well-rounded. So they know they got to go back in the off season and work on those weaknesses. But still a little bit frustrating to see so much heavy strength just at the very end that kind of put those people out of contention. Although hats off to Laura Horvath, who made a huge return over the last several events, and due to those events was able to podium. All right, another positive, Ricky Garrard coming back after a 4-year ban from the sport and getting third place. That's pretty impressive. Even though he has a lot of haters, he still showed that he's committed and in great shape and being able to do that. Also, Brooke Wells, after that horrible elbow injury last year during the games, to come back from that and to play so well and do so well in so many of those overhead strength events towards the end to get her up with a really good finish. In summary, I just have to take off my hat to all these athletes. So impressed with their conditioning and what they're able to do. I mean, this is 5 days of 13 events, and these are the type of events where they give it all they've got. They're lying down, can't even stand up afterwards. They're going so hard. I can only imagine the type of recovery they must need after a week like that. But it's just amazing that they can hop up again after several hours rest and compete in another intense thing like that. So I'm really looking forward again already to the 2023 CrossFit Games. I think it's super exciting and very entertaining. It's one of my favorite sports to watch. I've got a video link here sharing some of my thoughts on CrossFit in general. Feel free to share in the comments any of your favorite parts or some of the least favorite parts of the games this year, and I'll see you on the next video.